Hey, you guys. Hi, hello. How are you? It's me. And for those of you who may not know me, I'm Catherine Oster. I am a facilitator of Access Consciousness, and it's coffee chat time right now, which is why I'm popping on live. If you have never watched Coffee Chat before, welcome. I'm so glad to have you here joining me. And I do coffee chat every Wednesday at 1 p.m. on my Facebook page, Catherine Oster, CF. And I'm usually talking about the tools of access consciousness, how I use them in my life, what they are, and how you can start to play with them too if you are intrigued. They're super easy and fun. Hey, I've got a viewer. I can't see you, but if you could type to me in the comments, maybe I can know who you are then. So I'm just going to randomly chatter for a minute. Along with being a certified facilitator, I also do many other things, and one of them is grain farming. Hi, Lil. Hey, you. And so right now we're harvesting, but we're on a bit of a weather break, so we don't have any crop ready to go right now. It's still testing to hive moisture. So, maybe tomorrow we'll be back at it. So today I'm at home, I'm creating. Hey Cindy, how are you? I put on some makeup, I got my hair done, I'm actually creating some videos for some classes I have coming up, and I feel very refreshed. Hi Lil. Okay, so today I wanted to talk to you guys about energetic barriers. Um, So when I'm doing coffee chats, I often will send out an email letting you guys know when I'm live. For the most part, my target is Wednesdays at 1, but sometimes that changes. And so I ask, like, what do you guys want to know about? What's up in your world? If you have any questions, what would you ask me? And one of the ladies asked about energetic barriers. She wants to strengthen lowering her barriers and being expanded. So today I'm going to speak to energetic barriers, and maybe next week I'll speak about expansion. We'll see how that goes. Um, I don't think I have a clearing loop playing today. I just thought about that. Okay, nope, I don't. We're good. Okay, so energetic barriers are these energetic walls that we put up around ourselves, thinking that they're protecting us. Now, sometimes it's hard to find words to put to things, but basically, we create this separation and we create this wall energetically, okay? And we think that we're protecting ourselves. We think that we are keeping ourselves safe behind this wall. And I mean, you can just ask yourself the question, truth, do I have my barriers up right now? And go with what awareness you have that pops into your head. Yes, or is it a no? Which one feels lighter? Now, most of the time, most people walk around barriered. Yeah. Most people live their life with these energetic barriers. But what that actually does, so the barriers, they don't actually protect you because the barriers keep out everything. The energetic barriers don't know to let in money. They don't know to let in joy. They don't know to let in glory and happiness. The energetic barriers keep everything out. So what can start to happen is maybe you feel lonely and cranky behind your energetic barriers. And you're not, when you are behind your barriers, you're not energetically gifting and receiving with nature, with animals, with all of the bodies around you. Hi, Carol. Hi, Robert. Hello, guys. So it can create this stuck. So maybe you're asking for more joy in your life. Maybe you're asking for more money to show up, but it's counterproductive if you have your energetic barriers up because it's not going to let anything in, nothing. So the practice is to actually lower them. And how do you do that? You say, barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. In all layers, levels, lifetimes, spaces, dimensions, realities, barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. And anything that doesn't allow you to lower your barriers even more, will you destroy and uncreate all of that times a godzillion. Right, wrong, good, bad, all nine, pod, poc, shorts, boys, and beyonds. So that funny phrase is called the Access Consciousness Clearing Statement. You don't have to understand it. It doesn't have to make sense to you. In fact, it probably will not. But it is a magic wand that starts to energetically break apart and change what's sticking you. And in this case, we're asking it to break apart and change your energetic barriers. Okay, so now it's like a muscle that you have to start to build. Right now, your muscle is strong with your barriers up. So your barriers might only be down for 5 minutes before they come back up again. And that's okay. That is okay because right now you are more comfortable and you are stronger with your barriers up because that's how you're used to perceiving the world around you, from behind those barriers. Now, lowering them, saying the things I just said, barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. Hey, Travis. In all layers, levels, lifetime, spaces, dimensions, realities, universes, barriers down. Okay, now, this is where you have to start to trust yourself and trust the energies. In the beginning, because you can't actually see the barriers, that's the thing. You can't actually visually see them coming down. So you can always question whether it's really happening or whether it's really true. Or you can just trust it and play with it and start to notice things changing around you. So you can say, oh, well, I don't know if my barriers are really down or not. Or you can just know, hey, Nikki, that just by asking your barriers to go down, they are going down. Okay, so now in the beginning I said it's a muscle you have to strengthen. So you might have to remind yourself maybe like 5 times a day to lower your barriers. Barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. In all layers, levels, lifetime, spaces, dimensions, realities, universes, barriers down. And I'll type that out for you guys in the video description if you want to go back and remember. Now, we build barriers energetically because it's uncomfortable. We think it protects us from mean people. We think that our barriers will protect us from being abused. And so if we've experienced any abuse or we feel, we just build these barriers to protect ourselves. But like I said in the beginning of the video, the barriers also keep out happiness. The barriers also keep out joy, and the barriers also keep out money. You cannot receive anything behind the barriers. So as you start to play with this tool, as you start to lower your energetic barriers, it could be very uncomfortable for you because energetically you're going to become more aware of all of the things around you. Energetically, you're going to perceive even more and it's going to be uncomfortable and you might find yourself wanting to put the barriers back up again. It's like you're coming out of your cocoon to feel the sun. And when you first get out in the sun, you might get sunburned and it might be a little bit painful. But as you start to get more comfortable with it, as your skin starts get used to it, you can receive it even more and be more with that. Now, another thing is when you are behind your barriers, when you have your energetic barriers up, you cannot have a true sense of awareness of what's going on around you. So there is somebody who is coming to steal from you, or if there's somebody in the vicinity that wants to harm you, you cannot actually get or receive that information if you have your barriers up. So your barriers don't actually protect you. Your barriers actually turn off all your awareness of everything. Barriers will keep out all awareness. So you cannot have the information of what's truly going on around you from behind your barriers. So, barriers down, being vulnerable with everything and being willing to receive the awareness of everything around you is actually where true strength comes from. And you will actually have the information if any action is required for you to take. So if there is a person that, if they're, okay, so an example. So let's say there's going to be a bank robbery. Okay, now if you've got your barriers up, you're not going to be aware of this. You're not going to get this awareness. You might end up going to the bank where the robberies are occurring and maybe you get shot in the leg. Now, if your barriers are down, you will have the information, you will have the awareness to not go to the bank that day. And you won't necessarily know why. Something might just come up and you're like, oh, well, instead of going to the bank today, I'm going to go and do this. And you're just going to follow the energy. And then maybe later on you hear about it and you're like, geez, thank God I didn't go to the bank robber. Thank God I didn't go to the bank that morning. So when your barriers are down and you are willing to perceive all of the energies around you, you will have that information. But when your barriers are up and you're not perceiving what's around you, then you won't have that information. So it becomes a place of consciously creating your life with your energetic barriers down. And so just play with it for this week. If for those of you that are watching that want to play with this, until next coffee chat, I'll talk about being energetically expanded. But for right now, for this week, play with lowering your energetic barriers. Okay? Now, what you'll start to notice is when you get around other people, you might notice your barriers come up. And then you can just ask the question, are my barriers matching their barriers? Yeah. And so you can push your barriers down. And when you are having a conversation with somebody and say they start making you wrong for something and your barriers come up and you want to defend yourself, notice that. Because the moment you go into that defense position, your barriers come up. Take a deep breath, lower your barriers, barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. Take another deep breath, lower your barriers. Now from that spot, from that space, you can have a true conversation. And that person, if they can't, because when you also have your barriers up, people can energetically stick you with things. So if that person wants to make you wrong for something and your barriers are down and you are not defending yourself, they actually can't make you wrong for anything. Actually, you will start to invite a different conversation to show up, which will create a different possibility. But when your barriers are up and they are making you wrong and you're defending yourself, then it's sticky and nothing can ever change. But when you are vulnerable and you lower your barriers, that's when the magic can really happen. That is when you will have the awareness of what's required for you to say and what's required for you to be to change a situation. Barriers down, barriers down, barriers down. Okay, I hope this conversation made sense. Actually, it totally doesn't matter because it's going to make sense to some of you and it's going to be like I spoke Greek to other people and it's good. So, if you are willing to play with that this week, let me know how it goes. And I adore you all. Thank you so much for watching. If you got something out of this video, and you think it would be, fun to share, I would be so grateful for that. Okay, so until next week, barriers down. Bye bye for now.